Okay, good day everyone. So we are here for the discussion of our Module 3, Week 3, the properties of matter. So done na tayo with the description from the previous video from week 1 to 2 video natin. So it describes kung ano ba talaga yung matter and its characteristic. So for today, so let's proceed with the properties. Okay, before we have the discussion, so I have here a picture of minions. So, si minion number 1, tsaka si minion number 2. So, first, identify muna natin kung ano yung pinagkaiba nilang dalawa. So, una is yung hair. So, ano yung mapapansin nyo dun sa hair ng ating minions? Dun sa first minion, mapapansin nyo ang hair niya is nakatumpok lang siya dun sa gitna. While yung ating second minion is scattered. Isa-isa lang yung buhok niya, yun nga lang, nasakop yung buong scalp niya. Next is, mapapansin nyo is yung kanilang eyes. So, yung si minion number 1, isa lang yung eye niya. Then, si minion number 2 is dalawa yung kanyang eyes. Then, pertaining sa lips, si minion number 1, ang lip niya is naka-close, while si minion number 2 is naka-open. So, yung mga napansin yung characteristics, kung may makikita pa kayong ibang characteristics nilang dalawa na pinagkaiba, so that pertains to their properties. So, yun yung mga property ni minion number 1. Yung hair niya is nakatumpok lang sa gitna. Then, isa lang yung eye niya. Then, yung lips niya is naka-close. While si minion number 2 is naka-scattered yung hair. Then, two eyes, then naka-open yung kanyang lip. So, that pertains to its property. So, pertaining with our lesson for today, so, you're just going to identify kung ano-ano or malalaman nyo yung iba't ibang properties na meron yung matter. So, pertaining sa color, pertaining sa texture, at kung madami pang characteristics kayong or properties kayong may encounter. Okay, let's proceed. So, do matters have properties or characteristics too? So, the answer is yes. They have properties, then meron din silang kanya-kanyang characteristics. Hindi pag sinabing matter, yung ka na, wala ka nang pinagkaiba sa iba't ibang matter. Kaya nga tayo, di ba, meron tayong states of matter, kahit we have solid, liquid, gas, plasma, the Bose-Einstein condensate, the fermionic condensate, meron pa rin silang pinagkaiba-iba sa isa't isa, pertaining to the arrangement of their atoms, pertaining to the energy level, to the movement of atoms, may pinagkakaiba-iba sila. Pero all of them are said to be a matter. Okay, next is proceed na tayo with the properties of matter. So, properties of matter, it can be described into physical and chemical properties. So, ika-classify natin siya sa dalawa. So, pag sinabi nating physical properties, so those that are observed and measured without changing the substance into another substance. Or ibig sabihin, kahit anong gawin mo sa kanya, yun pa rin siya. Kunyari, babaguhin mo yung color niya, babaguhin mo yung size niya, still, yun pa rin yung properties na meron siya. Hindi siya nabago. Pag sinabi naman natin na, okay, under physical properties, so, it also divided into two. We have the extensive and intensive properties. So, bago tayo mag-proceed with the chemical properties. So, dito muna tayo sa lahat ng under ni physical properties. So, extensive properties, this related to how much matter is present. Kung gaano kadami yung present na matter dun sa isang object. So, property of matter that changes the amount of as the amount of matter change. So, syempre, for example, you're going to change yung shape. So, maaapektuhan din nun yung amount of matter na present. Kunyari, from square, gagawin mo siyang circle. Kunyari, may tatabasin ka doon. Ibig sabihin, mababawasan yung matter na present doon sa isang object. Next is we have here the extensive properties. So, under niya si mass, weight, length, and volume. So, what's the difference between those four? So, pag sinabi natin na mass, so, measure of inertia of an object. So, greater the mass, the more the matter. Mas mas madaming mass or mas mabigat, mas maraming matter na present. So, ang unit of measurement natin dito is grams or kilograms. So, yun yung unit na ginagamit natin for mass. So, these are the instrument that is used in order to have the mass of an object. So, we have here, isa lang to sa mga ginagamit. So, example is the platform balance. Okay, next is weight. Pag sinabi natin na weight, may kinalaman na dito si gravity of an object. So, the greater the mass of an object, the greater the gravitational force. Mas mabigat, mas mataas na gravitational force. So, ibig sabihin, mas mataas yung weight ng isang object. So, the unit for weight is Newton, or we have the symbol na letter N. So, this is the instrument na pwede nating magamit in order to find weight. So, we have here the weighing scale. Then, yung mga weighing scale that can be found dun sa mga market. Sa mga pang-kilo, ayan. Next is length. Pag sinabi naman natin na length, measurement of how long an object is. So, ang unit natin for for measuring length is meter. So, ito yung mga instruments na commonly na ginagamit natin in order for us to find length. So, we have yung ruler, yung metro, the tape measure. Next is a volume. Pag sinabi natin volume, amount of space an object takes up. So, ang unit na ginagamit natin dito is liter. The volume of regular solids can be calculated according to the shape of a solid. So, ito yung formula na ginagamit natin para malaman yung volume ng regular solid. So, yung liter na unit, ginagamit natin siya if ever we are going to find out the volume of a liquid. Pag naman, ang usapan natin ay solid, kunyari regular solid, so, pag sinabi natin regular solid, meron siyang length, meron siyang width, meron siyang height. So, ito yung ginagamit natin na formula. You're just going to multiply length times width times height. So, for example, here is the box. So, isa siyang regular solid and then aalamin natin kung ano yung kanyang volume. So, ang length niya is 3 meters. Ang width is 2 meters. Ayan, naka-indicate dyan. Then, ang height is 6 meters. Length times width times height. So, you're just going to multiply those variables. So, we have 2 times 3 times 6. So, that is equivalent to 36 meter cube. So, meter cube na yung naging unit of measurement natin kasi nga isa siyang regular solid. So, pinag-multiply natin yung 3 meters. Ayan. So, that is the volume. Next. Ito naman, kapag irregular shape yung solid. Pag sinabi nating irregular shape solid, wala siyang sariling shape. Hindi mo agad makukuha yung kanyang length, kanyang width, tsaka height. For example, is you're going to find out the volume of this dinosaur. Ayan. So, gumagamit tayo dyan ng water displacement method. The water displacement method, so may kukuha tayo ng graduated cylinder, just like what you see on the picture. Yan, may graduated cylinder. Tapos, lalagyan mo siya ng water. For example, we have this one, itong ating stone. Ito, mas malinaw kasi itong sa stone eh. So, nilagyan mo siya ng water, yung graduated cylinder natin, for about 30 cubic centimeter. Kunyari, 30 ml. Then, lalagyan mo siya. Then, you're going to put the stone. Tapos, titingnan mo kung gaano yung tinaas niya. Then, ima-minus mo. Since, nung nilagay mo yung stone, naging 40 ml siya. So, 40 ml minus 30 is equivalent to 10. So, 10 ml or 10 cubic meter yung measurement or yung volume ng ating stone. So, ganun din ang gagawin dito sa ating dinosaur. Dito nga lang kasi sa ating dinosaur, meron siyang point. So, ang tubig natin na nilagay is about 4.8. Tapos, nung nilagay na si dinosaur, umakyat yung water for about 5.6. So, you're just going to subtract those two numbers and then that will be the volume of the dinosaur. Okay, this one, ito yung kanina, yun sa stone, 30. Nung nilagay mo yun sa stone, naging 40. 40 minus 30 is equivalent to 10. So, 10 cubic centimeter yung volume ng ating stone. Next, ang tinitingnan dyan na is the lower meniscus. Yung, tong lower line. Yun yung tinatawag na lower meniscus. So, if ever na magme-measure kayo using graduated cylinder, magme-measure kayo ng water, ang titingnan nyo is this one, yung lower line. Next is intensive properties. So, yung lahat ng diniscuss ko kanina, so sila yung extensive properties or sila yung they refer with the quantity. Sa bilang sila tumitingin. Dito naman kay intensive properties, so properties that do not depend on the amount of matter present. So wala siyang pakialam kung gaano karami, gaano kalaki, gaano kaliit yung isang object. Ang tinitingnan niya is the other properties na under niya. So, under next, intensive property, so we have here the density, temperature, the odor, color, luster, malleability, ductility, hardness, and solubility. So, ito yung mga i-discuss natin or under dito sa intensive properties. Okay, we have here density. Pag sinabi natin density, ratio of mass per unit volume. Two objects may have same volume but different amount of mass. So, meron kasi tayong formula na ginagamit for density. So, we have here, density is equivalent to mass divided by volume. So, here is the example. Ay, nataklo ba? So, for example, I have an apple that has a mass of 10 grams with a volume of 2 cubic centimeter. What is the density of the apple? So, you're just going to divide mass over volume. So, 10 divided by 2 is equivalent to 5 grams per cubic centimeter. So, that will be the density of the apple. So, ganun lang kadali siya kuhan. Next. Temperature, it is a measure of how hot or cold the matter is or simply the presence or absence ng heat. Siyempre, pag mainit, there is a presence of heat. Pag malamig, there is an absence of heat. So, we have here the boiling and freezing boiling, freezing, and melting point. So, pag sinabi nating boiling point, so liquid state to gaseous. So, boiling point ng water is 100 degrees Celsius. So, ibig sabihin, pag kayo ay nagpapakulo ng tubig or kapag kumukulo na yung tubig na salang nyo, ibig sabihin, na-reach nyo na yung 100 degrees Celsius na temperature. Okay, this one. Boiling of water. From liquid to gaseous state. Kasi di ba mapapansin nyo, parang siyang nag-i-steam. Next is freezing point. So, freezing point temperature at which matter change from liquid to solid state. So, pag nagpapalamig tayo, water turn to ice at 0 degrees Celsius. So, if ever na naglagay kayo ng water dun sa ref nyo, dun sa freezer, at siya ay nagyelo, ibig sabihin, na-reach niya na yung 0 degrees Celsius na temperature. Okay, for example, yung ating mga ice cream, lalo na ngayon, summer, patok na patok ang mga ice creams ngayon, tsaka yung mga ice candy. So, sila yung mga in demand in this kind of weather kasi medyo mainit na ngayon. Then, the melting point temperature at which matter is converted from solid state into liquid state, in which I already discussed from the previous video dun sa ating week 1 to 2. So, nasabi ko na dun kung yung mga phases of matter that we have. Okay, so this one is melting point. So, alam ko namang very familiar tayo ngayon sa ating temperature, lalo na isa tong pertaining with our situation right now, which is the pandemic about COVID-19. So, naging aware tayo na mahalaga ang pagkuha ng temperature, pag-check ng temperature, lalo na if you're going to the establishments or may bibilhin ka sa labas, pupunta ka sa palengke, so, or dun sa ating mga convenience store, so kinukuha talaga nila yung temperature in order for us to check if ever we have symptoms of COVID-19. So, I know na familiar na kayo with this one. Okay, next, we have here odor. So, odor, syempre, we are using the sense of smell. So, characteristics are smell that has some odors are pleasant, some are offensive or pungent, or simply mabaho. Or there are some cases na masyadong matapang yung amoy. So, under siya ni intensive. Color. One property by which matter is identified. So, through colors, nalalaman natin if ever, kunyari this one, the example is sa mangoes. So, malalaman natin na hilaw pa yung mangga kapag siya ay kulay green. Kapag siya ay kulay yellow, syempre siya ay hinog na. So, because of the presence ng color, na-identify na agad natin yung kung ano yung probable na taste ng ating fruits, just like this one. So, there is a probability na maasim pa kapag hilaw pa, kapag kulay green, unlike dun sa kulay yellow. So, next is luster. Luster shows how shiny the object is, the property that makes the object reflect light. So, it is used to identify some minerals, usually in jewelry. So, just like this one, gaano kakinang yung isang jewelry or yung object. Next is the malleability or property of matter that can be flattened into thin sheets. Kapag hinammer, kapag niroll, kapag pinress. So, example natin dyan is aluminum foil, lead, white gold, iron, nickel, copper, and platinum. They are highly malleable or kaya silang i-flat into very thin sheets. So, next is ductility. Property of matter to be pulled into long wires, or ito yung mga ginagamit nating mga wires nang hindi sila nasisira. For example is yung ating tanso na copper. So, in which most common na ginagamit to sa ating mga kable. Then, we have here silver and gold. Yun nga lang, hindi natin masyadong ginagamit yung silver tsaka yung gold pertaining sa ating sa mga kable ng kuryente kasi nga you know what will happen next. Next is hardness. Pag naman hardness is indicates the ease of resistance of a mineral surface to be scratched by another substance. So, gaano ka-hard yung isang object natin kapag pinag-scratch, in which the hardest object that we have is the diamond. Ang pwede lang mag-cut kay diamond ay kapwa niya diamond. Next is solubility, ability of matter to dissolve in another substance. So, we have here the solvent and the solute. Pag sinabi nating solvent, dissolving solution, then solute, ito yung substance to be dissolved. Our universal solvent is water. So, kaya nga siyang ginagamit natin na pang-dissolve. Okay, solvent, yung water, solute, yung tutunawin. Next is the chemical properties. So, yung mga nabanggit ko before this slide is lahat sila ay under ni physical properties. So, pag sinabi nating chemical properties, are those that can be identified when one substance react with another substance, or there is a reaction that will happen na magkakos ng pagbabago ng isang matter. For example is yung pagkakaroon natin ng kalawang or rusting of iron. Yung nangangalawang, yung mga kadena, yung mga metals. So that is because of chemical properties or may chemical change na nangyari dun sa isang matter. Okay, so that's all. So I hope na may natutunan tayo dito sa ating discussion video. And then yung instructions in how to answer the activities in your modules will be posted on our cases. Okay, that's all. Thank you.